Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
For multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
Go, go, go. We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. How often do we talk about preparation on the Operator Podcast? I think pretty much every episode. I think preparation is very important. I think preparation is actually more important than the perfect plan or planning, too much planning, because planning is great and have an overall idea of what you want to do, but the only time the perfect plan exists is when you're planning. I've said that over and over. I say it when I'm in person. I say it here on the Operator Podcast. As soon as you go to do your job, Murphy shows up and everything changes. You're familiar with Murphy's Law, I'm assuming. And it just screws it up. I've said it before. A lot of the missions that we have gone, my team, have gone on, never went as planned. And even in combat, I've been to combat. And sometimes if nothing is going wrong, that's what's wrong. And there's, Murphy's rules of combat. If you haven't read them yet, I'll read them on another episode. I'm not going to go through them right now. I have copious notes for today. The point of a lot of this is you need to be prepared instead of over planning. Preparation is what's going to get you there. And the preparation is like the shooting 1,000 free throws in practice, so that you know in a game you're probably going to make the one you need, or the one at the end of a game that you're going to need because you were prepared to get there. Preparation is when the guy in front of you goes left, you go right. And he doesn't ever need to worry about his back because you're covering his back. You don't need to worry about your back because he's got it. Basically, preparation in like a close quarters battle. I say CQB, not CQC, because I'm an old motherfucker. Close quarters battle, CQB. The reason I stick with CQB is, one, that's how I was taught. Those dudes that I ran into at SEAL Team 2 when I checked in that were walking to the weight room carrying nothing but a pair of UDT shorts, no shirt, a positive attitude, a big grin, and a gallon of milk. They taught me CQB, and it was in the greatest movie of all time, Navy SEALs, with Charlie Sheen, Michael Biehn, and they said CQB. That's when he brought the little Lebanese chick into the kill house, the shoot house or whatever, and the dudes came in screaming clear. Those are the tactics. We did have to differ with Admiral Hawkins, Charlie Sheen, as far as yelling clear. We stopped doing that. Not important. But that's the preparation, so that you know when you get to a spot, it doesn't matter about the plan. When someone says, like an intel analyst, hey, when we get there and you go through the front door, building 1-0, there's definitely going to be a left-hand turn. Don't buy that shit, because there's definitely going to be a right-hand turn, but you train for a left-hand turn. Bad preparation, bad planning. Good preparation is the guy in front of me goes left, I go right. So just keep doing that over and over. That's what I'm getting at. The preparation will get you through it. We didn't plan on the helicopter crashing in the front yard of bin Laden's house. We talked about it for 30 seconds. The pilots saved everyone's lives, but once the guys got out in the front yard where they weren't supposed to be, they managed to get in the fight right away because they were prepared. We were dropped off on the outside of the compound. And we thought we knew how to get in, blew up a door. It was a fake door, brick wall behind it, went to another door. Wasn't close to the plan. That would have been scariest environment imaginable on the most important mission in modern history. But we were prepared to do stuff, and that's what we were doing. So we talk about preparation quite a bit. I'm going to get into that too, because I get online. This is the Operator Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Shea O'Neill. I forgot to say that. I just got right into preparation. But the Operator Podcast, what happens is I'm a former special operator, whatever you're doing, you're operating, and I want to give you my point of view here, and then I will read the comments. I'm getting a little bit thicker skin, so I do read some of the Twitter comments. Usually only the first few minutes, though. That's when the real people are there, and then the bots show up. And the bots try to get you all fired up because that's just an algorithm yelling at you. And then actually some algorithms actually get, like some AI gets other AI to yell at each other, so it spins everyone up. And that's emotions. That's bad preparation, too. But we are going to talk about... I had the perfect plan for a podcast. The point I was making is I got some comments. One in particular, I think it was on YouTube, actually, believe it or not. And I'm thinking about starting a YouTube page. I actually registered and paid whatever dues. Let me know as an operator, because I found a video, and it's on. I think I put it on my YouTube page, and it says Robert J. O'Neill / NISRO, NSRO, which stands for Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill, because that's redundancy, baby. Anything worth shooting is worth shooting twice and or thrice. Go check that out, though. See if there's a video that came out. It was actually a big-time gunfight. I don't know if I told the whole story. I must have on this podcast back in the day. I'll have to do some research. I've been doing this a little over 2 years, I think. This should be episode 128. Doesn't matter. We're in the 120s. But I found a video of the night we were doing vehicle interdictions in Afghanistan because we learned through preparation what the enemy was doing. What they were doing was they knew that we would hit them at night. That was kind of our deal. And everybody shifted. Everyone changed their stuff. Like the dudes, they stopped sleeping with their weapons in general, and they would hide them certain places, or they would sleep outside in certain places, whatnot. We would find them. We would figure out ways to exploit and whatnot, and we won every gunfight that we were in. And, that's the way we roll. But they learned we were coming at night, so what they started doing is they needed to leave Afghanistan before the sun went down, because the men with green faces, know your heritage. I'm taking that from our brothers in Vietnam. The SEALs that fought there, known as the men with green faces. We actually were referred to as the filthy team with the tattoos on their hands. Filthy? A little insulting, Al-Qaeda. What the fuck, dude? Anyway, they learned our tactics, and that we would show up, so they knew that they needed to get from Afghanistan to Pakistan, because they knew that if they got to Pakistan, base, we're safe, and a lot of times we did that. Sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we'd bomb them. Sometimes we'd fly into places and kill them. Sometimes we just get in fights on the border with them, and that's another story I can tell you. But the point I'm getting at about the video I have on my YouTube page is, and I have Rumble too. And I know I've said I'm going to get those up and going. Look at the studio. It's not, it's getting there, but just, man, life is busy. Got a lot of shit going on. I'm excited to tell you about eventually, if we play nice. But what these Al-Qaeda and Taliban dudes were doing, Haqqani, shit like that, bad guys. They realized we'd be coming after them at dusk. After dusk. We like those little motherfuckers to get to sleep, get done diddling whichever barn animal they were diddling, and then go to sleep with their buddy after they had sex with them as well. Anyway, they would get on motorcycles and leave before we got there. Let's say we get there at midnight. They'd leave before dusk so they could drive their motorcycles. And you'd be amazed at how many dudes can fit on a little Jihad 1000. Those little Jinhaos bikes, Jihads. I got a couple pictures of those too. Not sure if you've seen them. There's a couple. We took some good pictures in Chocolate Alley. Me and my buddy, my EOD guy, we finagled some RPGs and we got some good footage. Some will say they're. I'll try to find that picture. Some people say it was AI or photoshopped. It was legit. It was me riding a Velociraptor and a great white shark and an RPG. What's that whole thing? Yeah, that pictures. That's a taking the bull by the horns. It's a metaphor, but that actually happened. I'll put those pictures up. But anyway, so they would leave on their Jihad 1000s, and they would put 5, 6, 7 motherfuckers on those things, and they would head towards the Pakistan border because they wanted to get there before the sun went down, because the big Americans wouldn't come into Pakistan. So we adapted. We realized they're doing that, so we're going to do... This is easily the top 2 most fun missions you can be on. A vehicle interdiction, and what an HVI, a helo-borne vehicle interdiction, which I'm going to dumb it down for myself, and I hope you follow along. That means you're going to get in a helicopter with your friends, and you're going to hunt people on motorcycles. Now, I know that we've seen a lot of cool stuff as far as the World Wide Web, how they're a lot of people go pig hunting because pigs are varmints. So is Al Qaeda. Huh. I actually have more respect for pigs. Anyway, they don't like pigs, do they? No. Al Qaeda and pigs. Oh, man. Starting to come together. But you see a lot of videos, guys getting helos like in places like Texas, down south, and they hunt pigs. They shoot them and whatnot because they're varmints and they ruin stuff. They eat everything. They're kind of dangerous. They get rid of them. But imagine hunting a dude, or dudes, plural, on motorcycles. Tell me that's not fun. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you disagree with me. If you're a range guy, a gun guy, and if that stuff can be fun, man. Shooting is fun. You should know how to shoot. You should teach everyone how to shoot. It's important to know. You can have fun with it. Like when you do fun little drills for my range guys out there, practice it for your primary, your secondary, whatever. Doing the El Presidente, which is the the thing goes off, turn around, double tap, reload, double tap, El Pres. Fun drills. Shooting out of a helo is fun. Hunting people and shooting them off of their motorcycles and their buddies and watch them split. For some weird reason, you see this on TV, like cops and whatnot. People think they're going to outdrive or outrun a helicopter. No, you're not. You're not outrunning a police helicopter, and they've got good pilots, man. You're not outrunning TF-160, man. The Night Stalkers. Night Stalkers don't quit, man. They're the best pilots in the world. You're not outrunning them. Why are you trying? But they do. And not only that, my buddy who's an Army, the crew chief, he's got a minigun, right? A minigun. It's got 2 triggers. It's got this belt of 7.62 millimeters. This belt of bullets. It's a belt of bullets. It's a double B. And they go down and do a can. It's a can of bullets. The old Charlie Bravo. Charlie Oscar Bravo, can of bullets. Full of them. Got 2 triggers, right? This trigger makes it go 2,000 bullets a minute. 2,000 rounds a minute. And then if you double down on that motherfucker, you double down. 4,000 rounds a minute. You're not going to outrun him either. You're not going to outrun us. So we would do this every night. And I mean, that was a trip because we would work at night, like I said. So your first meal of the day. So you get up, you have coffee, a couple hours till the sun goes down, you go get briefed, then you get some chow. And that was usually fun because we're going to get dinner, but that's our breakfast because we're going to be up all night. The best time during chow was when, and we had pagers because fuck yeah, we had pagers. They would go off, which means stop what you're doing, swallow that last bite, maybe slurp up some of the gravy, give it a little sippy poo of the whatever you're drinking, get back, get on your shit. You should have your shit on anyway. Hop in the 60, and then you're going to fly. If you have little birds, that's even more fun. We were in Afghanistan, so we didn't have a lot of little birds. Delta kind of took them. Dude, I got a guy from Delta, one of my buddies, who he hasn't agreed to come on a podcast yet because technically he's a retired dude, Delta guy, fucking stud. He was telling me stories about the shit they did on little birds, hunting people in vehicles in Iraq. I'm talking 2005 when shit's going nuts. Like, we both listened to him talk and we almost felt, we didn't feel bad. Holy crap. I know what you're wondering too. What's the second best mission? El Ambush. I can't decide which one's better because you're hunting people in both of them. The El Ambush, you're set. You're going to ambush. But the VI, you're chasing them and they're running from you. They're running from they're going to outrun your minigun. It's almost like that whole thing when you see a bear in the woods and one guy's changing out of his boots into his tennis shoes. You know the story where he's like, well, why are you changing into your tennis shoes? You're not going to outrun the bear. It's like, I don't have to outrun the bear. I didn't have to outrun your ass. And then they would run. Anyway, so the point I'm getting at is on my YouTube page. It's something, I'm not on there a lot. I'm going to get on there. It's got to be fun at some point. A lot of dudes are doing YouTube, and it is addicting. So I want to tell some stories because they're kind of fun too. This one I put on Robert J. O'Neill or Rob O'Neill, it says NISRO. NSRO is the key. And it's like one video that I have on there. I'll post more. Maybe. Whatever. It's the video the night we went after some guys and they split off. It was getting dark, and for some reason, we ended up getting separated. I had to take a team to flank a couple motherfuckers up on a hill. We did grease the shit out of them, and that's when when the EOD guy rolled over and Big Daddy fucking dick down to his knees. That story I've told before. If you want to hear it in the comments, that's Abu John Holmes. But on the other side, not as funny. When we were up there, we finished our shit and our other crew was down. And this is a lot of the Bin Laden team that was on this. This is before the Bin Laden raid. They're down in a valley and they're chasing these bad guys. Cairo, who was the dog on the raid, which is crazy. One of these Al Qaeda dudes or whatever he was got up into a tree. He's going to ambush the guys because it's hard to explain because there's so many gamers out there. No disrespect. I wish I played some of those games. Some of the most fun I have is at night when it's like night pill time and I'll lay down, the wife's already asleep. I'll start scrolling through the reels of dudes playing those kick-ass games where you're all playing each other and everyone's fighting or what. I mean, everything from like Nightclub Simulator to straight up the new war ones where it's like they're planting limpet mines in a thing and making their buddy get in the cool shit. But I wish I could do that. But something a lot of gamers don't understand, because you respawn in the games, right? Have you seen that one where they're telling the new guy about their new secret weapon and it's that gold ladder and it falls them, bonk, and they can't work because they're laughing so hard they killed their own guy with their ladder? Neither here nor there. But one of the things you don't want to do in a gunfight is if you're chasing a dude with a gun, you got to be very careful, because he's going to stop and try to ambush you. And I see it in cop shows. I see it, in games. In real life, and I'm telling you as a no shit guy on the internet who's actually been to combat, we'll touch on that later. I'm gonna make a shadow box for behind me like a lot of these dudes do. We'll see. Anyway, don't chase him, but a lot of them do. But these guys they're going after this dude. He pulled a move that they weren't expecting. He actually got up in a tree, but it was after this small mud wall. So Cairo went after him and hopped the fence. The guy blasted him. So Cairo got shot in the chest and in the paw. And we're up on the hill over here and we hear, hey, a friendly EKIA. Oh, sorry, friendly wounded in action. I screwed all that up. FKIA is different. Friendly killed in action. FWIA, wounded in action. Friendly wounded in action. So we came over, my small crew, and we're like, okay, who got hit? Because you're going to get a call sign. That's how they tell you. And our call signs, I can't get into that, but we know who's who. And they said Cairo. Now, at this point, our dog just got shot. The enemy uses 7.62 by 39, which is a big bullet. And if you get hit in the chest without body armor, you're probably going to die. It's not the bullet that kills you. It's the temporary cavity that it gets jolted. That's what rocks your system and kills you. The bullet hits your heart. That's going to kill you. But Cairo got hit twice. So we heard it was Cairo. What happened was Cairo got hit after he jumped, and Cheese, his handler, and he wrote the book No Ordinary Dog. Read that book. He's been on this podcast. He started juicing him with the electric collar, which means you got to come back. Cairo knew he had to come back because he's a good boy, man. He couldn't hop the fence. He got shot in the chest. So he ran around the fence, got back up to Cheese, and he just collapsed. And Cheese saw him realize. But now some of the dudes came over again, dudes on the Bin Laden raid. Squared away dudes. Know their shit. Like they shaved him, put an Asherman chest seal on him, called for medevac. They got him out. Anyway, the point I'm making is somewhere along the line, somebody found this footage, and it's there, and it's really cool. It's a lot scarier in person than on, again, like a game or a video, but it's a cool video. You can see what happened, and it sort of explains it. Let me know if you see it, because it's out there. I put it on my page, and we'll see where we go. But the point I was making there was, preparation. My preparation was I had a lot of stuff to talk about today. It all changed. We all know something happened. I'm going to get into that. But what I need to do right now, I want to talk about our sponsor because I'm happy to have them. I talked about them before. Qualius Analytic. You've heard about this before. Qualius Analytic. Have you heard about Senolytics? Yes. The answer is yes, because I've talked about them. It's a class of ingredients discovered less than 10 years ago, and they're being called the biggest discovery of our time for promoting healthy aging and enhancing your physical prime. You're invincible, right? I was invincible. I thought so. Back in the day, back in the 20s, yeah, not anymore. The aging process is not our friend when it comes to endless energy and productivity. That's why I use Qualius Analytic. If someone would have told me there's science-backed ingredients that could help me feel 15 years younger in a matter of months, I wouldn't have believed them. Then I tried Qualius Analytic. As we age, this is important. As we age, everyone accumulates senescent cells in our body, the zombie cells. Senescent cells cause symptoms as aging, such as aches, discomfort, slow recovery from workouts, sore neck, whatnot, sluggish mental, physical, it's a middle-aged feeling. The zombie cells, they're old and worn out. They're not serving a useful function for our health anymore, but they're taking up space and nutrients from our healthy cells. It's like pruning the yellow and dead leaves off a plant. Qualia senolytic removes those worn out senescent cells to allow for the rest of them to thrive. That's all it's doing. And take it a month and see what happens. Resist aging at the cellular level. You need to try this. Try Qualia senolytic. Go to qualialife.com/theoperator for up to 50% off and use code theoperator at checkout for an additional 15% off. For your convenience, Qualia senolytic is also available at select GNC locations. But right now, and I'm not telling you, that's probably why I'm talking faster than usual, because I feel 15 years younger. The website is QUALIA life.com/theoperator. QualiaLife.com/theoperator for an extra 15% off your purchase. And I want to thank Qualia. They've been very flexible, very cool with me. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Thank you for giving this to me. I feel like I am ready to re-enlist after trying this. QualiaLife.com/theoperator. So the point I was getting at, though, was, preparation, planning. I planned. And what I planned is I jump around a lot. I actually took notes on paper, so I'm going to read them. But I have a tendency, I on a daily basis, what I do when I wake up obviously early, meditation, stuff like that. I do drink coffee. Come on. Don't bullshit me. And then I like to get to the gym early. What do we do? Wake up, meditation, coffee, gym. And then I like when I'm working out, I don't listen to music. I listen to audiobooks that I'm interested in. And I'm interested in current events. I am interested in politics. I'm interested a lot in history. And it's important right now. Here's what I've been doing lately is I've been collecting classic books that were published at least on or about 1970 or before, because I think, and I hope you agree with me, I think a lot of people are getting in there and editing shit that they think should be offensive to us, all based on, trying to get rid of our history. Not everything that's been written is good or you need to agree with, but that's what you should be doing. You learn from disagreement and failure, believe it or not. That's how you learn, not from everyone's happy and here's some nice words and safe spaces. Go fuck yourself with your safe spaces. Sorry about that. I meant F***CK, yourself. Fucker. I had on this podcast, like I said, I read the comments. I had people telling me, because I said someone told me on YouTube, and I went off on a YouTube tangent. Someone told me that this podcast is getting too political and just learning points or whatever to the politics. And I get that, man. You got to be sick of shit of politics. So in my whatever I do, I'm listening to stuff. I have a set of encyclopedias, 1973. Sorry, not before 1970, but 1973. And I go through stuff, and I'm trying to look at cool history stuff, just because I want to bring up stuff that's happened in the past. I love talking about that history and stuff because you learn from it. Current events they're just there, and you can't get away from it. But I agreed that I'm going to talk about something else. I had this awesome script, and then Signal happened. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. If you're not familiar with what went down, I'm going to tell you. Signal is an app on your phone, and it is quote unquote encrypted. And a lot of that stuff, I think you got to be careful with, because someone's just telling you it's encrypted. It's like, you know what they're doing with those apps that tell you your lineage, tell you your heritage, where you're actually from, your DNA? Yeah. Uh-huh. Where do you think that database is going? You think they just tell you that you're part Irish and part Moroccan and a little bit of Slovenian, and then you just get to keep it, or do they put you in a database? Anyway, Signal allegedly is encrypted. I use it too. I don't trust it. Anything you're texting, remember Snapchat, how it's like, well, don't worry because they disappear. No one will ever see them again. And they'll tell you if they took a screenshot. Not necessarily the case. You should know by now a lot of stuff out there you probably can't trust anyway. So, a lot of notes, different show, but now I had to talk about Signal because what had happened was 18 officials were government officials, big time, from this administration were on a Signal app, and they were talking about they're talking about sensitive stuff, but they think they're just talking with each other in a group text. So 18 officials, one other dude was on there. His name is Jeffrey Goldberg, and he's the executive editor of a place called The Atlantic. Having said that, you probably don't need me to tell you he's not a pro-Trump guy. He's actually quite the opposite. He's actually the dude that came up with the Donald Trump, President Trump, when he was 45, going to cemeteries, near cemeteries in Germany, World War I, World War II, and he was calling them suckers and losers. Never happened. That never happened, according to everyone who was there, but Jeffrey Goldberg ran with it, and who else did? The media, because they run with everything. They run with everything. I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to get to it now. You cannot give them ammunition. You cannot give them anything. They're going to make up shit like suckers and losers. They're going to make up stuff like they're going to make up everything to try to hurt Donald Trump. They're to the point right now. They're admitting if we lie and lie and lie, people are going to believe it because we want to make this man a lame duck president as soon as we can. Chuck Schumer said that. How does that make you feel as a taxpayer that they're discovering all this stuff that they stole from you? And they're not saying here's our plan to make America better. Here's how we counter this policy. No, we're going to make them a lame duck. So they're going to do everything they can. You cannot give them ammunition. You cannot give your enemy firepower. But 18 dudes, some of the people on this thread were CIA Director John Radcliffe. That's bad. My friend Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, was on there. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was on there. I guess the Secretary of Treasury was there. Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, was on there. The White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. The Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, who I don't think I've ever met him, but listening to him talk, I'm convinced that he's the smartest man in most rooms he's in. The guy can debate. The guy's good. But Goldberg was on there too. And somehow that came down to the National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, who's a patriot, man. I think 4 Bronze Stars, Green Beret officer, a lot of stuff, congressman. He's on there too. And allegedly it came from his account that got this Goldberg guy on there. They're going to try to figure this out. They're saying that one of his staffers got him on there. That's an immediate red flag for me. And I'm not saying right or wrong here, but someone from his crew put Goldberg on there. The buck stops with him. That's his crew. There's just dumb stuff. There's nothing classified there. Classifications is different. With classification, like a specific item needs to be classified and why. It's not. I mean, they were talking about some bad stuff. They're talking about the Houthis that they're going to bomb in Yemen because they're disrupting the trade. Major trade goes through the Suez Canal, which is the Red Sea, and Egypt's right there. You've seen pictures. Yemen's on the other end. They've been doing this bad stuff. So they're bringing up stuff they shouldn't have, weapons packages and timing and weather. Shouldn't be mentioning that anyway, but nothing classified. And then Mike Waltz. This is not. You can tell there's nothing classified because Waltz is big into the emojis allegedly, because he's putting like fist bump, flag, fire. Not official, still not appropriate. And it was a back and forth between officials. I disagree with the group chat for stuff like this. Whatever. Waltz himself said, the National Security Advisor, Waltz said, of all the people out there, this guy. Russia lies, smears. How did he end up there? Well, and Waltz said he didn't know he was on the thread. Well, Doge better get on this. Find out who leaked it and why. They said stuff like Europe is weak. We don't trust Europe. But how did this happen? What is going on there? In D.C., they will find you. They will honeypot you. They will take their little communist fucks and slither in my wife's gonna be proud of me. I said Slytherin. She's big Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter too. You know, I read books a lot. She told me I read way too much nonfiction and I need to read fiction. And I was like, fine, I'll bring the first Harry Potter. I bought every episode, every volume of Harry Potter because I'm going to read them to my young daughter. And I always tell Jess I don't need to watch the movies with you because I want to read it with my daughter, and then I'll learn it that way too. But Slytherin, that's kind of funny. But they do. They did it with Trump before. Donald Trump, 45, trusted D.C., trusted generals, which he shouldn't have. You see, look, Boeing, I think, didn't Boeing just leave those two astronauts high and dry for 9 months? I think it was Boeing. And they just came out with the F-47, a new jet. Guess who got the contract? Boeing. Talk about rewarding failure. But they need Doge there to figure out how this happened. Having said that, though, Buck's got to stop with him. Even with this signal thing, this cracked me up. You know what cracked me up? Did I write this? I had to. No, the signal thing though. Sorry, I'm trying not to bounce around. I get all excited, and again, it's some of the kick-ass meds that make me 15 years younger. But there's an agency, CISA, CISA, and this cracked me up because that stands for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. That reminds me. There's a joke I think that might have been George Carlin that said the Department of Redundancy Department. That's the government. The Department of... But they urged people to use it before. They've advised the government to use it. CISA said, hey, use Signal. And these guys were using it, like I said, they were using it as permitted, but you cannot give them ammo. Do not give the left ammo. The media's going to pounce on this, and they're doing it. I don't even want to be talking about this now, but I have to address it. Right after these texts, right after these signals, we killed a lot of bad guys. You know, took out missile systems, headquarters, several leaders. But the left does not want to talk about success of this. They're going to pounce on this. Why'd you give them the ammo? And this guy Goldberg, I guarantee you, he hasn't released it all. He's going to hold on to it. And he's saying, well, ethically, because it's not the right thing to do. You're going to drip, drip, drip because that's what you do because you're an operative. I mean, the shady thing too. I had to quote this. I heard actually Carl Higbee on his show say this. The way this dude talks, he said, this is the type of guy that says this. He said, after reading this chain, I recognized that this conversation possessed a high degree of verisimilitude. Verisimilitude. The first time I heard verisimilitude was in the movie American Pie. He's in the kitchen at that party right before Stifler drinks the frothy beer. You know what I'm talking about. But he said that he was smart. He said verisimilitude. Verisimilitude means it looks like it's true. So instead of saying it appeared to be true, he has to say it possessed a high degree of verisimilitude. That's a dude, man. If he's at a cocktail party, pull up a chair and he finishes one of his bangers of a story, say, can you tell that again? It was so good. I mean, this is the same guy. He peddled the Russia bullshit, this Goldberg guy. Suckers and losers. He came up with the bullshit when Trump said, well, very fine people in the KKK, which he didn't say. They're just the spinners. You cannot give them ammo. He's the guy that praised Milley for calling China a direct violation of the chain of command. But he's on there. He got there somewhere. We got to figure out how. But here's where this group on this text includes some of my friends. These 18 people were not prepared for this. You cannot give them ammo. Look at these numbers. Why aren't you calling all of them to verify? Trust but verify. You need to call them and find out before you're sending firebomb emojis about blowing it up. And I've seen this too, and I don't like it. You cannot justify bad behavior with bad behavior. You gave him the ammo. You fucked up. You can't say, well, back in the day, Hillary Rodham Clinton did this. And yeah, she fucked up too, and she's a criminal. She should be in prison. And she even came out and said something about, she said something on X, but it's like, dude, you need to sit this one out too. People remember you. She doesn't care. The left doesn't care. The narcissists in D.C. don't care. They're not going to sit it out. Why? Because you gave them the ammo. This is going to go away quickly. Look at the news cycle. It's going to go away, but this is bad. They're going to harp on it. They're going to try to make it a lot worse than it was. January 6th was worse than Pearl Harbor. Are you out of your fucking mind? Yes. That's the answer. Yes. They're out of their minds. I do need to say this, though. This administration, the Trump administration, is not dealing with an amicable opponent in the left, in these crazy left Democrats who need leadership too, by the way. I'm not a big believer in the one-party system. It's horrible. We should have 3 or 4 parties, but the Democrats are unhinged. Don't give them the ammo. The January 6th thing, they spin everything up because they're trying to make everything worse because they want Trump to fail. Here's the part I need to say. You can't quit. You can't quit on these guys. This sucks. And you learned you got to circle the wagons, the Republicans. I'm an independent. I'm just giving you advice. You got to circle the wagons now and admit, hey, take the wind out of the sails. Yeah, we screwed this up. There was nothing classified. We screwed that up. It'll never happen again. You can't start. You got a year and a half before the midterms. If you lose, man, now especially. A couple days ago, this was bad. You lose the majority in the House. You lose it now. It is going to be nothing but this. It's going to go away quickly if you do good stuff, which they're doing. If they win the House, though, it's coming right back. So is Jan 6. So is impeach. As if I was able to advise President Trump, though, I was a team leader for a while. Nothing at the level he is, obviously, as the president. I was in charge of dudes. Here's the question. I had a boss one time in a gunfight we were in. Rich was in. I got to get him on here. What a great leader. We were going house to house for different things, and we got into a spot. He was the officer. I was senior enlisted, and I wanted to hit another building, a follow-on target. We're going to get in the fight. We're finding these guys. I pulled up my little thing here, the quarterback thing with the map and stuff, and I said, all right, here's what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. We're in here, building 135. We're going to hit 220. And I looked at him, and I said, you know what, sir? Shit, I'm sorry, you're in charge. He said, in combat, he said, make no mistake. I'm not in charge. I'm responsible. You're in charge. Don't fuck me. Right? I'm responsible. What Donald Trump needs to do is say, out of those 18 dudes on this text, who was the senior man? That answer is the vice president. He does not need to be relieved. He needs to be in the Oval Office, and he needs a no shit ass chewing. And all of you, never be this lazy and unprepared again. It's hard enough fighting an uphill battle. Do not give them the ammo. But it can be, more than a little frustrating because it's one of those things. I mentioned Murphy's rules of combat. It's like when your enemy's making mistakes, don't interrupt them. That's some Sun Tzu stuff right there. And there's so many people on the left trying to fight this administration. They're not going to interrupt us when we screw up, when they screw up, whatever. I'm not a Republican. I'm an American, and it just makes sense. And a lot of these people, they're not good people, and they don't really care who they hurt. It's a lot of the bad stuff's going on out there. So it is. You know who I haven't talked about in a while, though? I need to bring this up because it is Lent. I am a Catholic. Mike Lindell, MyPillow.com. He, my sheets, my slippers, the original MyPillow, the dog beds, my coffee, but the My Cross is out there. You got to go over to the deals are unbelievable. Go to MyPillow.com, and what I want to give you is code the operator. Go check out MyPillow.com. Get some of those towels, man. Like my wife is very specific about her sheets, about her towels, certain stuff like that she it has to be a certain way. And I rolled up some MyPillow stuff. Use code the operator to save some money. And she absolutely loved the sheets. And the sheets were the big one. The towels, I didn't know how that was going to go. That's fine. I'll use them. She loves those. I had to order more. I sent a bunch to my dad too. Loves those. My towels are awesome. But My Cross, I'm going to get that too. You always see, I joke about with Mike Lindell, just like I'll turn on the TV when I'm falling asleep at night, and just nothing better than the soothing sound of Mike Lindell screaming me a lullaby. But check out MyPillow.com. Use code the operator. Huge discounts. You're able to see it when you check out. Just the discounts you're going to get, or the number to call if you want to use your cell phone is 1-800-924-7208. 800-924-7208 is the number to get you a discount, or go to code the operator at MyPillow.com. Go check this stuff out too. I'm giving you pearls here because with the little sleep I get, I like it to be good. The pillows are awesome. The sheets are just incredible. But like I was mentioning too, I'm going to close with this. I don't want to be morbid. I don't like talking about this. Look, I hate war. I would love to have peace. I would love to have a really strong America because that makes a strong world. imagine if we could get just some Democrats to work with, instead of trying to make Donald Trump a lame duck, how about this? Let's try it until the midterms. Because they're politicking and campaigning anyway. Let's just see if this stuff works. Maybe it does. What if it does? Everyone pays lower taxes, makes more money. Why wouldn't you want to be part of that? Well, unless you're on the take and people like Elon Musk are taking away all the money you're stealing from taxpayers. I don't know why it wouldn't be for that. But these people do weird stuff too. You know what swatting is? You hear about swatting? You want to know what that is? This is dangerous. I mean, look, shooting at Tesla dealerships and blowing up cars with Molotov cocktails. By the way, that's going to be awesome when dudes start getting 20, 40 years for stuff like that. Start locking these dudes up. And if you missed them, by the way, when they were keying your car, you might catch them at a Antifa rally, or you might catch them burning down Minneapolis, because it's the same people getting paid by you. Your tax dollars are going to NGOs that are... Same people, they're bad. These people that are burning cars and burning down cities and calling you a Nazi, their grandparents were the ones burning crosses in front yards. Don't forget, that was the Democrat Party. The Democrats were pro-slavery. They invented the KKK. Let's not forget that when they start yelling at you. I'm an independent. I mentioned that. But swatting is their new one too, and this is reprehensible. Swatting is when you call a SWAT team and lie to them. Like, they've done it to people. And like, not everyone... If a SWAT team shows up at your house, not everyone has had a gun pointed at them or been in a fight. I'd like to think I would be able to handle it and explain to some. But I mean, what if you get a cop that's his first day on the job? They're telling people, hey, you got to go to this house. On the second floor, there are gunmen. There are 2 people dead and there's more shooting. You got to get in there. And they're telling this to the SWAT team. So the SWAT team breaks the door down and they're amped up. Man, like, I've said this before. I know a lot of cops, especially like NYPD SWAT team guys, and they've seen a lot of their high-risk warrants are a lot more dangerous than missions we were on, man. You're dealing with, I mean, to the point where, I forget what they call them. You'll probably know. Tell me at the Operator podcast on Insta. But they cut the voice boxes out of pit bulls, so you can't hear them bark, but they'll run at you. Imagine being a cop who's seen this much shit, seen people jumping out of windows and falling 30 stories and splat. You know, they've seen some bad stuff. Imagine if you're amped up and there's shots fired, we're going in. You're amped. But nothing's happening. What if you're the dude inside who's a political commentator that Antifa doesn't like, so you don't know who's breaking in? Say it's late because it's better to work at night. Say you grab your gun to defend your family and you run into a SWAT team that thinks you're the guy that's shooting. This is going to get deadly. This is going to get bad. So you got to listen. You got to pay attention. I hope the cops are there, man. I'm not going to try to tell you how to do your job. I wasn't there. But, man, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Know your target. Know what you're shooting at. Recognize the threats. I don't want to get into it, but that's what the left is doing. And again, they don't care about the truth. They want their political agenda. Joy Reid was on a show with Don Lemon, or as Tucker says, Don Lemon. And she was talking about how dumb we are because of the Canada thing. And she was saying the last time we tried to invade Canada, they fought us and they burned down our White House in D.C., in the War of 1812. They burned it down in 1814. That's a Joy. She's talking like she knows what she's talking about, even though Canada became a country on July 1st, 1867. The British burned down the White House. Actually, that's a story too. President Trump 45 had the Secret Service show me where they started that. We were up in the Lincoln bedroom at the White House, and after he told me that not everybody gets to see this, O'Neill, unless of course you donate to the Clinton Foundation, I'm having an out-of-body experience looking at the actual Gettysburg Address signed by Abe Lincoln, and I'm like, you just can't quit. And he hit one of he was going to bed. We're up the Lincoln bedroom's on the second floor, which is the residence, and he said to one of his Secret Service guys, "Hey, take O'Neill downstairs, show him where those limeys started that fire in 1814." I don't think we say that anymore, Mr. President, but it is what it is. Anyway, Joy Reid was on there saying we would never beat Canada because they're bigger than us. We tried a bunch of times to invade Canada, which, I mean, back in the day, shit happens, but they didn't burn it down. It was actually an English colony. The 1867 Canada became Canada. Oh, Canada. Let's see what I was going to say about... Oh, and she also said that Canada has more guns than we do. Canada's got more guns. Canada has approximately 34.7 firearms per 100 people, and that statistic is based on a report by the Small Arms Survey, which compiles data on civilian-held firearms globally. rosary breeds these bleeds. My dad and I used to watch Cannonball Run all the time. That's a tough one to find. Speaking of YouTube, if you can find Cannonball Run on YouTube, seriously, grab a popcorn and a soda and watch. It's one of the funniest movies ever made. These bleeds. Anyway, so 34.7 firearms per 100 people in Canada, according to the survey. United States, USA has approximately 120 guns per 100 people, which means there are more guns than people in this country. So per capita, I'm going to do the quick math. That's like 1.2 guns per person. That's dope, isn't it? And I'm trying to look at like the swatting thing. They track some devices from AOC, and Bernie Sanders are doing these end tyranny or fascism and democracy and kill the babies for women's health and all that shit. They're getting people there, but we have Elon Musk and Doge, and they track the devices. 84% of the people at these events with AOC and Bernie had been to 9 or more Kamala events. And 31% of these protesters were at protests for BLM, Hamas, anti-Israel. What I'm getting at is these are not spontaneous. You can tell the difference. It's like looking at a CGI, whatever. Looking at an AI image. I don't know what I'm talking about. An AI image where you can tell people are not really there chanting. It's like playing Madden. You can see the crowd. It's not really there. That's what they're doing. But these are paid activists. And the people burning down Teslas are terrorists. They need to be treated as such, you know. I have this in my notes. I don't know why we wrote this. My dad and I were talking. We came up with, you got to, as opposed to thinking small, you got to start looking at the next horizon, not just the next bar stool. That's just good advice, I guess. So I'm going through the notes. I've got so much good stuff that I hope it's relevant. I'm going to do a podcast again in a week. But I mean, this, again, in life, that's why you got to be prepared, because it's never the thing that you're worried about that happens. It's the thing you don't see coming that slams you on a Wednesday. Look at 2020. At that time, we were talking about re-election, and there was a fight who's going to be the next Democrat. Oh, look at that thing. I said a thing fly out of my guitar. Those things flew over, too, in the middle. Did you see that? Weird. I got flies. It's getting cold. What the hell's going on in the studio? I don't know, but I'm about to get out of here. But like back in 2020, we're thinking about who's going to be the Democrat nominee, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, then we're locked down. There was something that was weird. Again, that's a more bullshit we'll get into, but it's important. I think it boils down to keeping it simple, master the basics, and staying prepared. That's where it is. And unfortunately, I had to talk about the signal BS because that was a blatant example of being unprepared. So always monitor your group texts. Try to avoid saying bombing or fire and the Houthis, even though that's a fun word to say. People are now saying Houthis. I don't buy it. It's Kiev. It's the Houthis. Houthis. So if you can pronounce Houthis correct and stay prepared, and always make sure you know to whom you're sending a group text, you're never out of the fight.